Thank you. The theme this morning is love, isn't it? It is. And I have to say that I'm on a certain kind of high after being in Asilomar in California last weekend. And I'm very happy to be back with you all this morning. But I had to say it was hard. It was hard to leave that beautiful experience. And you know, maybe some of you have had a similar situation that you've been in where you're in this delicious environment where you're with a large group of people who are as into something as much as you're into that something, right? And conferences are kind of like that. You know, you are all talking about the same quirky subject that you love, and there's just something about that. And so for me, spirituality conferences are those things. It's kind of like an immersion experience where you're completely immersed in the thing that gives you the most joy. And it might sound crazy to you to want to do this right here for 2 hours in the morning, then in between that and a 2-hour thing in the evening, then in between there's meditations and workshops and growth experiences and time with God and time in nature and all of that. So if you're into that, it's heaven. It's like heaven. And so if you're into this philosophy at all, if you love this kind of music, if you like this kind of discussion, and you have the opportunity to go to a gorgeous place like that with 500 people who are living with God at the center of their lives, go. It's pretty amazing. So if you don't know, our founder, Ernest Holmes, he wrote this whole philosophy. He began teaching this in California over 100 years ago. And he would gather with people at Asilomar, which is near Monterey, California. How many of you have been to Asilomar? I mean, just that place and that place. Maybe a couple of them. Okay. So, or Monterey, that general area. But Ernest would take people there every summer, and they would have this spiritual retreat. And this continued for decades and decades. And about 10 years ago or so, it was cost prohibitive for us to go there every year as an organization. But every now and then, like this year, we hold retreats at Asilomar. And it's a beautiful state park, and it's conference center, and it's just right on the edge of the Pacific Ocean. And our organization has many memories that were built in that particular place. And I wanted to do my ordination panels there. It's where I did my practitioner panels years ago. And so it was kind of a full circle moment for me to do my ordination panels there. And yeah, so I got pretty insistent with the organization, like this is where I want to do it. But at any rate, Asilomar is special because Dr. Holmes himself spoke there many, many times. And he gave his final talk there in 1969. I'm so sorry, 1959, 60 years ago this summer. And it's called Sermon by the Sea. And so if you've ever read Sermon by the Sea by Ernest Holmes, the whole conference this time, because it was the 60-year anniversary of it, every speaker was given a quote from Sermon by the Sea to build their talk around. So, and they opened the conference with a recording of Ernest Holmes' voice saying something about, we come to this place, something, I don't know. And then they closed the conference with the finishing of Sermon by the Sea. So the Sermon by the Sea closed that retreat that year, and this is what he said as a quote from that talk. He said, "We have come to Asilomar, spent this wonderful week together in love for each other and adoration for the God we believe in." That is what I experienced in California, a wonderful time together in love for each other and adoration for the God we believe in. It was an experience of love. You may have seen the photographs on Facebook with having reunions with all of my CSL friends from around the country, and you may have seen pictures of the trees and the grounds. I tried to share a little bit. Some of you have watched the videos of the music and the messages that were given there. And if you haven't, then go to the Facebook page called Centers for Spiritual Living, and there are links on that page where you can actually hear our spiritual leader Ken Gordon do an amazing talk about Asilomar. He actually brought out Ernest Holmes' very suitcase and put it on the stage so that you could see what Ernest Holmes schlepped, this big thing, to Asilomar every year. But perhaps the pictures caught it and perhaps they didn't. But what was being felt in every single moment there was love, and it was thick. It was thick, you could feel it. Love of each other, but also love of spirit itself. And an intentional deepening of the love that is our very nature. It is our nature to be loved. And so when you're around people with that intention, it's pretty powerful. And we were sharing that love with everyone around us. The staff could feel it. The people on the grounds could feel it. And I hope that that's your experience every time you come here to community every week. That is what I am aiming for. That's my intention. That's the vision I hold, is that you feel Asilomar in this building every Sunday. Love for each other and adoration for the God that we believe in. Love. Love, love, love. I don't know about you, but that is what I am seeking in my life. Love. That's what I'm knowing for my life. Love. That's what I am. I am in my life. Love is the truth of my being, and it's the truth of yours. So when I first came to the Science of Mind, like 18 years ago, I was looking for love. I had been looking for love in all the wrong places, like they say. But what I thought I was looking for when I came here was a place for my daughter to learn about the God of love and not the God of judgment. But it really was just an excuse for me to look for love. Sometimes we as adults do lots of things in the name of our children that we really just want to do for ourselves, right? But I was looking for an understanding of God that was not this capricious being in the sky that just judged from the clouds, but instead of power in the universe that totally supported me and held me in love. And I wasn't here that long before I learned this seminal point that Ernest Holmes made. He says, love points the way, and law makes the way possible. And I know if you've been around here for 10 minutes, you've heard that saying. Love points the way, and law makes the way possible. Love points the way. What does that mean? What does that mean? How can I live in relationship with the idea that love points the way? So my talk title today is You, a Love Story. Here's the deal. Your entire life is a love story. You may not feel like it is, but let me see if I can share the idea that I have in a way, this view that maybe be informative and help us live in alignment with love. Because we crave it. We all crave love. The fact is we are all loved. The moment that you are born, you are living a life of love. The very fact that you have life, a breath, is based in the truth that the universal power that I call God is loving and giving to every form life. But love just continues from there. It's not just your breath, which is an act of love. But from there, you begin to write your love story. So very early on, you start deciding, what do you love? And that love begins to draw you to the things that are for you. And the way I see it, life always is about food, okay? It just is. Life's about food. And so if you watch a baby, they will gobble up the baby food flavors that they love. And they will absolutely spit out at you the flavors that are not for them, right? So my daughter, Kelsey, because I always have to use her as an example because she's the only kid I have. Sorry, Kelsey, if you're watching. She's not watching. She loved blueberry buckle. Okay, blueberry, I actually like blueberry buckle. I would sneak a little bit myself. But you know that tiny little gerber jar, it's like this big, and it's blueberry buckle. So when she was a baby, we were teaching her basic sign language because she went to a school with special needs children because of her physical disabilities. But many of the babies there and the children there were nonverbal, so they learned sign. And so Kelsey learned the sign for more. This is also the sign for blueberry buckle. And then she loved blueberry buckle, and so she would sign more whenever she tasted that flavor. but she would spit out green peas. Okay, green peas are disgusting to her. And this is the sign that goes with green peas. All done. All done. All done. So this is blueberry buckle more. This is all done. Green peas. So no one taught her that. We did teach her the signs, but no one taught her that blueberry buckle was yummy and green peas were gross. That was not, we didn't teach her that. We exposed her to everything neutrally because she needed the peas, right? So she just knew what she loved, and she was able to communicate what she loved. It started with food, all right? But pretty soon as she grew, it became things about clothes, okay? She began to realize, I like this kind of clothes. I am not wearing, okay. So I have a picture of her with one of those head tourniquets on with a bow, you know, because back in the 90s that was the thing. So she could learn how to hook her thumb and hook it and just get it off. That was not what she loved, right? All done, right? So she learned what kind of clothes she loved and what she didn't love. But then she learned what kind of school subject she loved and what she would rather skip school to attend, right? And we all do that. We all figure out what we love. We love certain friends and family, and we just can't wait to see them. And then there are these other people that we will totally skip our favorite Thanksgiving dinner if they're going to be in attendance. We don't want to be around them, right? So we know what we love. Some of us learn to love exercise. And some of us are like, all done. Like, PE class ended, right? I'm done. Like, I have no need to run any further. Some people love to travel. And some people just barely get in the car if they have to, right? So we learn. So if we look at it that way, Holmes's concept, love points the way for us, makes sense. It always does, and it always has. Love is our inherent nature. Love informs us in which direction to head in life, and we use spiritual law to manifest everything necessary to move in the direction that we desire. So here's a long quote from Holmes, but let's see if we can get it. In an intelligent study of the teachings of the science of mind, we come to understand that all is love, and yet all is law. Love rules through law. Love is the divine givingness, law is the way. Love is spontaneous, law is impersonal. We should study the nature of reality with this in mind, and in this way we shall avoid two grave mistakes: either viewing life as made up only of mechanical laws, or viewing it as made up only of spontaneous actions irrespective of law and order. So those are the two mistaken ways to look at love. So life. Let us never think that life is just mechanical, that life is just happening to us without our input, kind of willy-nilly, without our love, without our preferences, without our creative power being a part of it. Don't mistake that. But he also points out that we should not also mistakenly think that life is willy-nilly and things just happen accidentally, right? That's not the case either. The love that is within us is so very important, and it is creative. So what do I mean by love? What am I talking about love? Love is that inner pull towards something or someone that's inexplicable, but it's just definitely there, right? Love points the way, and it's whatever makes you want to say more. That's love. What you want more of, you love. Let's define it that way. Here's the tricky part. We communicate with the universal law about what we love. And how we do that is we focus on things, we focus on subjects, we focus on situations, we talk about things, we have feelings and emotions about things, we obsess and we think about things. And that is how we tell Spirit what we love, what we want more of. And I see the terror on your face. Like, whoa, Reverend Laine, I hold on a minute. I focus on lots of things I don't love. I focus on lots of things. I pay attention to a whole heck of a lot of things that I don't want more of. But that's where spiritual practice comes in. We have to figure out what we truly love and want more of, and discipline our minds to stay attentive to only the things we want more of. things that we are deeply drawn to. Blueberry buckle, right? So we're all grown adults. We're all grown adults, and we figured this out, right? Most of us feel like we're kind of done with the identification of the things that we love, the situations that are for us and the stuff that we love. But is that really true? Is that really true? You and I are a sacred love story. Your life is a love story. Spirit is constantly and continuously inviting us to rise above our human preferences that we've gathered along the way and experience a deeper, more holistic love of our entire lives. Our hearts are always yearning for a greater expression of love. Love of others and love of ourselves, yes. But also a greater love for the earth. A greater love for the planet. A greater love for the things that we do. Because all of it's God. So truly it is a call to a greater adoration of the God that we believe in. The God that Holmes talks about at Asilomar. Since the very beginning of your existence, you have been writing your own love story. And I trust that you're still in a magic suit. You're here this morning. So your pen's still in your hand. You're still writing. And I trust that as you continue to evolve spiritually, you are writing more and more beautiful chapters in your love story. I trust that you're mindfully clearing away fears and replacing them with love. And the Signs of Mind textbook says, love alone can overcome fear because love surrenders itself to the object of its adoration. The soul must make a complete surrender of itself to the Spirit. That is, the law must come under subjection to the Spirit. The will of the Spirit is peace, clear thinking, and happiness. It could have no other will. He's pretty definite there. Through spiritual practice, we spiritualize ourselves to love and its will. Peace, clear thinking, and happiness. That's what it says. Peace, clear thinking, and happiness are what Holmes gives as the will of Spirit. So that might be a place for us to start. That's what we can start focusing on as we do our work to move towards greater love in our lives. If we simply identify the things that give us peace, the things, the situations that bring to us clear thinking, and the circumstances that offer to us happiness. If we did that, we would be aligning ourselves to greater love. So let me just say, Holmes talks about the will of the Spirit, but let us not forget that there is nothing outside of ourselves. We are all part of the one. So it is our will. It is only our will that is guiding our lives. Spirit's will is peace, clear thinking, and happiness. We get to align ourselves with that or not, but that's where our will comes in. We align our will to spiritual truth, and our will becomes peace, clear thinking, and happiness. Our will becomes divine love, always seeking more of itself in every moment of every day and every word of our love story when we align ourselves to Spirit. So how do we bring our personal will into alignment with Spirit? I think we do that by searching our hearts for the love that is inherently there, way beneath any fear that you might be experiencing. There is love in your heart, way beneath the fear. And if we listen to the divine love in our hearts, our will reflect that. Our lives will reflect that. Our hearts. This is what Holmes says about the heart. The heart is the center of divine love and perfect circulation. Its action is harmonious, vital, adequate, and complete. There is no false action and no wrong action. The pulsations of life are steady, unceasing, and perfect. Let not your heart be troubled. Love is at the center of our being, and the calm, continuous pulsations of life are governed by love. Take a deep breath. The tricky part is allowing your life story to be written and governed by love. The tricky part is to keep our hearts from being troubled. Troubled by what? Troubled by fear. So often we forget that we're trying to write a love story that is powerful and peaceful. So often we forget that we're even writing a story at all. And so often we start writing a fear story very easily. Let not your heart be troubled. We may have learned at an early age to move towards blueberry buckle and away from green peas. But some of us have forgotten that skill, and we are sitting in a world of green peas all the time. I think we get afraid. I think we get afraid that somehow the universe ran out of blueberry buckle. There is no more blueberry buckle available to us. That jar is cleaned out. So we just keep choking down these green peas. We settle for green peas early in life because that is all we seemed to find. And somehow we forgot to look within and see what our hearts are longing to have more of. So last weekend, I wrote a beautiful chapter in my love story of Basilamar. One of the things that I learned really, really young is that my heart loves God. I was in a really crazy environment growing up religiously. But I knew underneath all the fear that was a part of that teaching that I was in, underneath all of it, I just knew that I loved God. And I knew that living in alignment with that love was not optional for me. I could deny it, and somehow in my late 20s or so, I said, oh, forget it. I just have to figure this God thing out. It's not going to stop. And ever since I found this teaching, I've been signing more. I want more. I've learned that I am most peaceful, clear thinking, and happy around people who believe in a world that works for everyone. The divine love that pulses my heart pulses in alignment with life itself when I live this philosophy. So I've been on a long journey into this love of God. And last weekend I sat for my ordination panels, and I got to talk to a group of ministers about this love story that I've been writing about ministry and about God. And I had the opportunity to tell them about this beautiful community that we have here. I told them that it's all about loving each other and adoration of the God that we believe in. I shared with them that I love the teachings of Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes speaks to me, and how much I love sharing this philosophy and teaching this philosophy. And I have followed this urging of love in my deepest heart to this way of life as an ordained minister. Trust me, there are lots of other things that my human self wanted to be doing at this age of my life. But when I surrendered to the love that informed me, the love that pointed this way, I realized that this was the sweetest love story that I could write. In order to have this absolutely blueberry buckle experience of ministry, I had to surrender some symbolic green peas along the way, and some very recently. But that's my experience of writing my love story. What about you? What about you? Where have you already loved well in your story? We've all loved things really well. We're all old enough to love things really well. Is there a way to deepen into some of those loves that are already foundational in your life? Maybe there's something going on for you that's needing a renewal of love energy in this chapter of your life. Take the level of love that you already have to a deeper space. But also, let's take a look. Where is divine love calling you forward into a greater loving in a new way? Where are you standing in a world of green peas longing for some blueberries? You know, it takes much courage to say all done and reach for something that you want more of. I invite you to trust the love in your heart and allow it to draw you towards something more peaceful, more clear thinking, and more loving and happy. Love is the basis of everything because God is the basis of everything. No matter what the question is, love is the answer. Let us clarify what our love story is. Let us unapologetically love what we love and seek more of that. And let us release and set free those green peas in our lives with dignity and grace, understanding there's a baby somewhere who absolutely adores them. They have to jar them for somebody. It's just what's possible. So have the courage to write a new chapter in your lifelong sacred love story. Reach for your blueberry buckle career, your blueberry buckle relationships, your blueberry buckles activities. Believe that you deserve whatever it is that you love. Understand that your love points the way to your best life. And that the universal spiritual law simply awaits for you to indicate what you want more of. And it will respond to your focus and intention and make the way possible. That's how life works. Your love is so very personal. It's whatever that draws you, and you are unique. But the law is impersonal, meaning it works the same for every one of us, and it works whether we're aware that it's working or not. The power of God picks up your focus and helps you co-create the life that you are communicating with it. It will allow you to write whatever kind of story you want to write. Make it a blueberry buckle love story, and you will be happy and peaceful when it answers your cry for more. Let us pray. Take a big deep breath. I am deeply aware that in this room, there is quite enough love for all of us. There is quite enough joy and quite enough peace because God is in this place. The God that I adore and believe in. The God within my heart. And it is only love and love only. And so I know for each one within the sound of my voice is writing a beautiful love story. And I call forth into that love story the power of the law, the power of the truth. And I know that nothing stands in the way of love. It's impossible because it is the will of Spirit. And so I know for each one here, a deepest peace, the clearest thinking, the clearest mind, and unbelievable happiness. As we reach for blueberry buckle, Spirit pours it in buckets full into our lives. And so it is.